Welcome to the Business Chef Podcast, where we learn from the best about the business side of the food service industry. Do you make food? Then let us help you make money doing it. Want to connect with us? Check us out at Make Food Make Money on Instagram or Facebook, or email us info@businesschef.org. Welcome to another edition of In My Opinion, where I give my opinion on things that I see or notice throughout the month, day, week, year, whatever it might be. One of the things I've noticed lately, something that has come to my attention more often than not, is people or concepts or operations basing their decisions on people rather than systems, strategies, policies, procedures, whatever it might be, whatever standards you have or you've set in place. They base their decisions more on the people than the policy or the procedure or whatever it might be, whatever standard that you have. And what ends up happening? Well, most of the time what ends up happening is that people fail us. People do not always live up to expectations, and a lot of times we're caught off guard when that happens. One of the things that I noticed this week was, as I was helping to put together a schedule for a client of mine, they kept coming back to, well, so-and-so doesn't want to work those shifts. Well, so-and-so doesn't have the ability to come in at that time. Well, we would like to do that, but unfortunately we're going to have to do this because so-and-so can't work at that time. Now, don't get me wrong. I am all for working around people's schedules, and I'm all for quality of life and making sure that people have balance and making sure that people have a life outside of work. The challenge is that when we base all of our decisions and we base our businesses and our company and our department, whatever it might be, when we base our success around someone else's schedule, availability, or what they want, that's when we do ourselves a disservice. We've got to be able to have a little bit of give and take on both parts. As an employer, it's one thing to be stringent and to be unbending and not willing to sacrifice or not willing to look at other options when it comes to employees and their needs. But at the same time, employees have to understand that we have a business to run and we have to run that business according to what's best for the business. So we can't always have the best of both worlds. We can't always be able to work the hours that we want to work when we want to work them and expect to make the money that we want to make. There has to be give and take. For the company to be successful, employees have to be willing to put in time and sacrifice to show the employer that they're willing to do what it takes to make the business successful. It can't always be one way or the other. At the same time, the employer can't expect employees to come in at times and hours and schedules that aren't accommodating to them in their personal lives or their personal needs. So, with that said, it's more important to base decisions in business off of systems, standards, and not necessarily personalities or individual wants. So when it comes to scheduling, or when it comes to trying to make a business work along with personalities and personal schedules and personal needs, there has to be some sacrifice and some give and take on both parts. So keep in mind, when it comes to employees, employees are our biggest assets, but they're also our greatest liabilities. And being able to help them by giving them the time off or the schedule or the hours that they need can ultimately benefit the company because you have much more productive employees. But at the same time, employees have to be understanding that hours of operation and that needs of the business are still real, viable needs. And without the company being profitable, successful, or whatever those benchmarks might be, they don't have a job. So there has to be some give and take on both sides. That's why it's very important to set up standards, accountability for those standards, and be consistent about it. Because when you do that, that's when you're able to really create a win-win situation. You're able to give employees direction and understanding of what's expected without having to sacrifice the needs of the business. Now, individual situations come up from time to time. I understand that. But as a whole, and generally speaking, we've got to base decisions on not only what's best for the company, but what is best for the employee. And the best way to do that is to create systems and standards and accountability and hold to those consistently to make a win-win situation for everyone. Because as an employee, you want to know what's expected. You don't want surprises. But as an employer, you want to be able to hold people accountable and expect to have people live up to the things that they promise to live up to. This has been another edition of In My Opinion, and I would love to hear yours. Hey, thanks for sticking around. Be sure to share this podcast with your friends, family, coworkers, or anyone who's interested in making food and money. And when you get a second, give us a review. It really helps us get the word out, as well as letting us know how we're doing. Want to connect with us? Check us out at Make Food, Make Money on Instagram or Facebook. Or email us, info@businesschef.org.